Stacy House, and today we're talking about the story of the pearl. This pearl is real. It's from one of those kits that you can get out of a clam or an oyster and make a necklace out of it. It's pretty cool. I got kind of a pinkish color. I guess you can get different colors. But yeah, the verse for today is Matthew 13:45-46, and it talks about a merchant going to look for fine pearls, probably finer than this one, and taking all he owned or had and selling everything just to buy one single pearl, because he really believed in that pearl. Now, if you've heard, like, if you're in Australia, one single pearl can be like millions of dollars. So clearly not this one, but I know they get pretty huge, and I think those pearls that they find in those oceans in Australia, those pearls can like live up to 40 years. So finding one is pretty rare and yeah, very valuable. So not this one. I'm sure this one's worth something, but but how that happens is basically some kind of thing gets irritated in the oyster, and you know how you see those shells with that shiny stuff all around it? It's basically that, just making a little around the irritation of where it was and making a pearl instead of that shiny stuff around the shell. So I guess it's a myth when they say it's a grain of sand that got into the oyster that created the pearl. So, but the same concept is there. You know, something irritated the oyster and it made it beautiful. So I just want you to think about that. Like, you know, maybe something's irritating in your life where you're like, this is, you know, you can't see the good in it. But you don't really know over time what beauty that's creating, you know, what you're learning from that struggle and where it's making a beautiful thing in your life. So it may be creating hope in your life. It may be creating faith. It may be creating, hey, you know, I wouldn't have learned this in the light. I would have only learned this in the dark. Because sometimes we can only learn things in the dark. Like, if you put a seed into the ground, it's covered by dirt, right? It's not covered by sunlight. If the plant has too much sunlight, it's going to get scorched. So think about that. Going back to that verse, the man sold everything he had for that one pearl. That's actually talking about the kingdom of heaven. So he believed that this pearl had so much value that he was willing to sell all he had to buy that pearl because it was such great value. And he really believed that that pearl was worth every single dime, every single penny, everything he had. So in a spiritual sense, when you give up everything for Jesus and you're living for his kingdom, you have treasure in heaven. You have things in heaven you don't even, it's just priceless. I mean, Jesus is priceless, but think about the gold streets, right? There's no trailers in heaven, right? So thinking about what you have on earth and selling everything you have, I mean, compared to that one pearl that's worth so much money, it's really a great move. It's really like, you know, what you're selling in life compared to what's in heaven is really, you're making a great investment. But, you know, even when you do investments, like, some people are like, well, I don't believe in that investment, and so they don't invest, right? But when you really believe in that investment that you're investing in, you're all in.